Day. Welcome to a brand new term here at WASA Distance Education Center. My name is Kobe Flatt, and for the next hour, we will be going through the DCO3O curriculum material. DCO3O is simply the course code for cooperative education. We are going to be, today specifically, just getting used to the course, what the expectations are, what co-op looks like. The course is creating opportunities through cooperative education. This course, I'm going to, I'm allowed to be biased. This course is fantastic. This course allows you to get credits for doing what you might already be doing. If you have a part-time job or a full-time job, we can use this course to tack on to the skills that you're learning, the tasks that you're completing in your workplace, and give you credits for it. Who doesn't want that? You're busy, you might be working full-time, you might be a parent, you really want to get your high school diploma. Let's do that with a little more ease by giving you DCO3O. Now, this course can be 1 credit or 2 credits. If you just need 1 elective, you can take this course and get that elective credit without doing a whole lot of extra work. Some of our other courses, it feels like you've got a full-time job, you're a parent, and then the course feels like a part-time job. This course is not that terrifying. Believe me, I want to make this as stress-free, as tear-free as possible for you so that you can be successful without feeling like you're working too hard. This course is great if you need 2 electives. We can add on a 2nd credit for the work that you are doing. I want to go through, lay it all out today. You can decide if this is right for you, and if you've already made that decision, welcome. Welcome to our class. This is what co-op will look like. If you are needing this course and maybe you're a little bit unsure of what it looks like, and you've got Monday to Thursdays from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m., you can participate live. You can tune in on your radio to 91.9 FM. I will admit that there's fantastic music when there's no classes, so just always have 91.9 FM on your radio and dance along and then learn along with us here at WASA. If you would like, you can call in. If you're driving around, you're listening to your classes, you have a question or a comment, you can always call us at 807-737-4017 with questions or comments that you might have. A lot of us teachers have Zoom links because we have slides that go along with our classes. Right now I have slides for how to participate live on the board in front of me here. And if you would like to see the slides, if maybe you're sitting at home, you're at your desk, you've got some time to watch and listen, ask myself or your DEC for the Zoom link, and you can be following along with us as we go. If you can't watch live or listen live, that's okay. We do record all of our classes, and so there are multiple ways for you to go and find those recordings after class has finished. You can go to our new WASA Distance Education Center YouTube channel and find all of the classes and their playlists. I will show you what that looks like in a little bit here. But the other way to find class recordings is if you log on to our Google Classroom. Recordings are kept in 2 places. The YouTube will be these new class recordings as we go through this term 1B. These new class recordings will get posted onto YouTube. If you're moving ahead, you're already maybe on Unit 2 and you need a little assistance, you can always call me or email me or connect with me on Facebook. Or you can hop on to our Google Classroom and watch previous recordings that I did last year. Now, that having been said, here's a disclaimer. This course has been redone again. I made this course last year and I tweaked it. I realized there are some things that maybe people got confused about, things that I didn't really care for. I got student feedback and I wanted to change it. So the course does look a little bit different this year, but you could use the Google Classroom recordings from last year to help you, to assist you with certain concepts or questions. But it is going to look different this year, so just be mindful of that. There is a toll-free number to call us at here at WASA should you want to connect. You can call us at 1-800-465-7144. Please don't hesitate to reach out with questions or comments. Any way that I can help you be successful is what I'm here for. Now, YouTube. I'm going to show you what our YouTube looks like. You want to go to your search engine, type in YouTube. On YouTube, you want to look for WASA Distance Education Center, and it should have our logo. It should have a cover photo of the front of our building. We have a bright red building here on Front Street in Sioux Lookout that has our name and our logo. That is what is represented on our YouTube channel. If you see videos of classes like ENG4C, LNCAO, PLAR, you will know that you are on the right page, in the right spot. These videos are captured, recorded classes. If you scroll down to playlists, the playlists have all of the course content. Just last term, in term 1A, I taught MAP 4C, the grade 12 Foundations for College Mathematics course. If you were to click on that playlist, you'll see in the dialogue panel on the right hand side are all of the classes, all beautifully in order, starting from the introduction, lesson 1, part 1, lesson 2. I see some of them are doubled up. If you need help with, what concept, what lesson was it in, you can see last term I took 3 classes to teach lesson 7 content material. So if you're wondering, when did they do the quadratic, linear model, exponential models, quadratic models? If you were to click on the video, you can see in the description box that it was lesson 7 part 2 that we talked about quadratic functions. And you can see if those are the concepts that you need help with. There's a whole list of classes along with their course descriptions that get posted usually at the end of the week. So if you can wait until Friday to see this week's classes, they will. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Let's just get rid of that. That was my math class, which is done and over with, but they are still there on YouTube. Again, if you need the current recordings, Google Classroom is your best bet. Here we are. Because term 1A is finished, the grade 12 math is done. For anyone who's listening that's still working on their math, remember that's okay. We're still here for you. We can still assist you with any questions or comments you might have. But now broadcasting live this term 1B, which runs from today, Monday, November 10th, all the way until Friday, January 23rd. We will be broadcasting Monday to Thursdays from 10 until 11, this DCO3O class, this cooperative education course. Same as last term, from the 11 to 12 time slot, we have PLAR. Instead of the PLAR geography, history, and English, this term our PLAR teachers will be covering PLAR science and PLAR math. There's lovely music playing from 12 to 1 p.m. as you get to enjoy your lunch break. Right after lunch from 1 to 2 p.m. we have a brand new teacher delivering the NBV3E course curriculum. Right after Elliot, we've got Doug back with English. He's transitioning from ENG4C to ENG3E. From 3 p.m. until 4 p.m., the lovely Margaret is back with, again, LNCAO. So if you weren't able to catch that first term 1A, you can follow her classes Monday to Thursday from 3 to 4 on the same LNCAO. Lastly, wonderful Jillian is wrapping up our Term 1B schedule from 4 to 5 p.m. Instead of OLC4O, she will be delivering the ENG4E content. Now, we never broadcast on Fridays. Fridays are a chance for you to use it as a work period. Get caught up on any outstanding assignments. Feel free to reach out to your teachers. We are here in the office to answer any questions that you might have. It's a good chance to get a hold of us because you can sometimes miss us Monday to Friday if we're in and out of the studio. But Fridays we will be here and can help with any questions. That's when we'll get caught up on marking and send you back feedback. You can be watching for that. So today is the start of a brand new term, and it's a nice day to get you hooked because then tomorrow our offices are closed. Tomorrow we will be closed in observation of Remembrance Day. There will be no classes broadcast on Tuesday, November 11th, but we will be back in the office, back in the studio, Wednesday, November 12th. So today is a nice, we'll call it a soft entry, getting you into Term 1B, and we'll jump in back to our regular schedule on Wednesday, November 12th. You can see we have a few interruptions this term. We are going to be breaking for 2 weeks for Christmas from December 22nd until January 2nd. You've got those 2 weeks off to be resting, recuperating. Sometimes you'll have to do some work, but hopefully not. I'm a strong believer in work when it's time to work, rest when it's time to rest. You need that time to get rejuvenated and re-energized so that you can be successful. Our last day of term again is Friday, January 23rd, but remember we don't broadcast on Fridays. So our last on-air class will be Thursday, January 22nd, leaving you that Friday to get work in, to finish work, to get your assignment submitted for that end of term draw. And then we have another administration week where you can mentally prepare to switch over to Term 2A and the new courses that are offered then. Looking at the layout for this co-op course, it's a little bit different than the other courses that you might see here at WASA. For instance, the Grade 12 Foundations for College Mathematics course that I just taught has 20 lessons broken into 4 units. And we teach for the entire 9-week term schedule. You'll notice that our term schedule is 9 weeks for Term 1A, 1B, 2A, and 2B. But co-op works a little bit differently. Co-op runs in the assumption that you need time out of the classroom to work on assignments to prepare you for the workplace. Now, that having been said, I understand a lot of you have full-time jobs or even part-time jobs that you might have been in for a long time, and you can't just say, sorry, boss, I need to take 3 weeks off. We are not asking you to do that. We are just going along with the if we were not working, this is what we would need to do to prepare yourself for your placement. For the time being, for this term, for the time that you are enrolled in co-op, your workplace will often be referred to as your work placement. While you're still working, while you have your job, we are going to act like for the next 4 weeks, we don't have the job. And we're going to go through certain assignments that will prepare you for your placement, even though, yes, you are already working. So the way that this class is laid out is this week is week 1. And we're going to do our introduction to cooperative education. We're going to become familiar with the course, the platforms that we'll be using, the expectations. We're going to go through how to complete and submit assignments, what that looks like, where to do that, and how to do that. Then week 2, next week, we're going to act like we are preparing for the workplace. We're going to explore careers, create a resume and cover letter. As if you didn't have a job and you're looking for work, these are things that you would have to do. You would have to write a resume and a cover letter and practice for an interview so that you could be hired. Then weeks 3 and 4, we'll be going through the health and safety portions of our course material. We're going to be talking about policies and acts surrounding worker health and safety. Week 5, sometimes it will take, we'll see, the work placement prep and culminating review, where you need to understand the workplace, how to complete the culminating activity, what it looks like, again, those expectations. We're going to walk you through all of that so that you are prepared and successful in this course. We want to set you up for success. Then while other classes are still going on from weeks 6 to 8, you're going to be in your placement. Now remember, you're already working. You're still working the whole time. You're doing the introduction, the preparing for the workplace, the health and safety portions. But we're treating it as now you just focus on work. And while you're focusing on work, you can be finishing up assignments. You can be completing those evaluations of yourself. You can be building what you're going to need to create your culminating task, your final project. So we're really only on air for about 5 weeks, and then we don't air the co-op class anymore, but term 1B still goes on with your other classes. Maybe you're enrolled in more than one happening. So that's how co-op, the DCO3O, differs a little bit from the other courses that you might be used to here at WASA. Today, we are going to break down the actual course. We're going to go through the introduction. We're going to review our course outline. We're going to get you familiar with the course, what it looks like, how to approach it, and then explore. We're going to practice working on the platforms with Google Classroom and other co-op tools. So before I go any further, I just wanted to take the time to introduce myself, that although my legal name is Jacoba, I go by Kobe. So a lot of times that's confusing for students when they're looking for their teacher Kobe, but my email is jacoba.flat@nnec.on.ca. I am the same person. I live here in Sioux Lookout. I did move here from Southern Ontario. That was 15 years ago, team. That I just came up here for a year to get some teaching experience, and then I drank the water, as they say, and I've been here for 15 years. The beautiful thing about Sioux Lookout is it's the land of opportunity, and I've had the chance to teach every single grade. I have taught kindergarten all the way to grade 12. I've been in adult education for the last 9 years. I love working with adults who, for one reason or another, weren't able to get their high school diploma in those high school years. I am here to help you succeed in getting it now, finding the right time is not the same time for everybody. I am a wife and mother and understand the juggle, the balancing act that it takes to raise a family and be full-time working, and can understand how adding one more piece to that, learning and working towards your diploma and completing school, can be a challenge. And that's why I want to make this as pain-free as possible by helping you succeed. I love baking, reading, watching movies, and playing truly any and all games, whether it's card games or board games. I am a nerd for learning new games and just having fun. The tools that we are going to be using are primarily Google Classroom. Google Classroom houses all that we need to be successful in this course. From Google Classroom, we have connections to Google Drive and Gmail, which will be those secondary supporting platforms to the work that you'll need to do. I want to go through some extensions that can help you be successful in this course, like Read and Write. It's a wonderful tool that can help you. Oftentimes, a lot of our struggles are just trying to get our words onto paper. How do we capture that? Sometimes we're so tired by the end of the day of having made 3 meals for the family, gotten the kids to and from school, just gotten yourself to work. Sometimes can be tough. And so Read and Write is a wonderful way for you to just not have to focus on writing things down, typing things up, getting your thoughts to paper. It can capture that for you through the use of the mic. And we will go through what that looks like. I want to point out that in order to access all of these tools, you will need to be on your nnecschools.org account. When you register with us here at WASA Distance Education Center, you are given a school email account. The school email account is the same formula, so to speak, for everybody. It's your first name dot your last name, and then it's the month and day of your birthday at nnecschools.org. Your password when you first log on will be a generic password that then you will be asked to change to personalize to make it for you so that you can remember. If you don't yet have that, or you're not sure what that is, or you want confirmation as to what that looks like, please reach out to any one of us here at WASA. We can help with that. If you need a Chromebook to be successful in your course, because as I've already mentioned, the majority of our course is housed on Google Classroom, please reach out to me. You can email me at Jacoba, that's JACOBA, .flatt, FLATT, at nnec.on.ca. You can call me. My number at my desk is 807-737-1488, extension 2228. Or if it's easier to connect on Facebook, you can find me. First name would be J Flatt, and last name would be Wasa. So you can find me at J Flatt Wasa. And we can organize getting you the tools that you need to be successful. Quickly, in case this helps to get ahead of any of those questions that you might have, your Chromebook, your laptop, your Google G Suite account will give you easy access to Google Classroom, Google Drive, your Gmail, those extensions, the Read and Write, the mic. Again, to log in, you want your first name dot your last name with your birth month and day. So if your first name is Jacoba, it would be JACOBA dot last name. My last name's Flatt, FLATT. And then the birthday, the month, I was born October, so that's number 10. and the date is 23rd, October 23rd. So my email would be jacoba.flat1023@nnecschools.org. Now, if your birthday is January, maybe you have a January birthday, your name, your first name, whether, Jacoba, so Jacoba .flat, last name. But if you had a January birthday, it would be 01, and maybe you were born January 5th, so it would be 0105. We need to have those 2 digits to make the month and day formula work on your birth month and day for the formula for the email. So make sure if you're January, you're 01, and if you're a single digit date, then it's 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, etc. We're going to go through Google Chrome, the G Suite, to have a better understanding of what this all looks like. The first thing you want to do is, it's always easier if you start in Chrome. If you don't have Chrome, see if you can download it. If you have a Chromebook, well, guess what? You've got Chrome right there. Once you are in Chrome, you want to look to your icon that's in the top right corner. Sometimes it's a letter, sometimes it's your picture. You want to ensure that you are logged into your school student account. Some people have a personal Gmail account as well, and so you'll have 2 that you can toggle between. The example that I have here on the board, there's Steve. Steve has a personal account, Steve has a work account, and then Steve has a student account. Steve can toggle between all 3 accounts by going to that top right icon and managing the different various accounts, making sure you are logged into the school, the student account. If you just have your personal Gmail, you can add yourself as a user. You just say add, and then you put in your first name dot last name with your birth month and day at nnecschools.org, and you can save that account so that you can toggle between the 2. You can add the apps to your homepage by saving a shortcut if that's easier. We want to take some time to check out some of the other wonderful apps that Google has to offer. Let's explore what those look like. Here we have the sort of Google homepage. We have our Chrome up. I'm looking at, I see in the top right, we have your Gmail. So depending on if you're following along with my, let's see if I can, there we go, with my slides, I'm looking at the account that I'm logged into, making sure that you are logged into the proper account. You want that nnecschools.org account. If you don't, you can add Chrome profile. Remember that Chrome profile is where you can toggle between your school account, your personal Gmail account. You can manage your Google accounts. You want to add that Chrome profile so that you can go back and forth between your different ones. Once you're logged into the NNEC schools, then we can pull up our Gmail. This little icon looks like a waffle, a bingo card. It's the 9 dots that make up a square. This is the house, so to speak, for our Google apps. Excuse me. On here you will find all of the various apps that you have access to. The big one is Google Drive. Google Drive has the different G Suite options. It has Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drawing, Google Forms, all of the wonderful tools that you can use for completing assignments. If you scroll down, let's see if I can scroll, there's Docs, Sheets, Slides. What we really want to be looking for is Google Classroom. If you're not signed in or if you haven't used it before and you can't find it, you can click on the More from Google. When you click on More for Google, you can jump to their products. We can look for Google Classroom. If it doesn't come up, we can look for all, and it looks like an old school blackboard. It looks like a chalkboard with a little piece of chalk. It has the yellow border, the green blackboard, and the 3 people icons. That Google Classroom is what we will be using for signing in to your material. Now, we can say sign in to Google Classroom, and mine is the teacher version. So I'm going to see actually if I can switch. I'm going to say add Google profile. I want to sign in with my, I think I'm Jacoba Demo at nnecschools.org, and then I'm going to go next, and I'm going to type in my password, and this is going to bring up my student one. So now I can see from my profile the icon at the top that I'm in my NNEC schools, and I've been to Classroom. So I'm going to click on Classroom from the little waffle icon, and here I have the different classes that are available to me. Now, the MAP4C is the grade 12 math, the GPP3O is the leadership and peer support class. This is the co-op class from last year, and what I want is I want to join the new co-op class. So I'm going to have to go up. There's a plus button in the top right corner. If you have not yet been invited to the classroom, you're going to need to join to add. So you go up to the little plus button in the top right corner, and you can say join class. And then here, I will give you the class code. You can reach out to myself or your DEC and type in the class code so that you can join. If I've already invited you, it will be in your Gmail account. So all you have to do, you don't have to worry about going to the icon, going to Google Classroom. You can just click on your Gmail and you'll see an invitation from me in there. Once you are in, then what we want to see is what it looks like from your point of view. So I am going to add the class code to my student account by join class, enter the code, clicking on join, and waiting to be accepted, and here we are. This is what the Google Classroom will look like for you. On the left hand side, you'll see your various classes that you have. You'll see across the top 3 tabs that say Stream, Classwork, and People. Classwork is where you're going to do the majority of your work. The Stream is where you'll get new information from me. Under Classwork, it is organized into the various sections that you're going to want and need access to, and I've tried to make it user-friendly. So literally you start at the top with the DCO3O course outline. You've got the study guide, your expectations, there's an assignment checklist. the various forms and documents that you're going to need, rather than putting that into Unit 1, how it is in your IL hard copy, that independent learning course hard copy, I've made a complete section for them on Google Classroom so that they're right there and obvious and you don't have to go scrolling through to find them. If you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see tips and tricks and training for how to navigate Google Classroom. Then we have the textbook unit material. Our class still has 20 lessons, but instead of breaking it into 4 units, we've broken it into 5 units for this DCO3O class. By clicking on the unit material, you'll see a PDF of each unit. You can have that tab open as you go through Google Classroom. You can open it as a new tab and you can scroll through, finding all of the information that you need. And I actually want to take the time to go through this right now. Let's go back to our study guide and walk through the important things in the study guide, because a lot of times we see this and we just push it aside because we think, oh, I'll use it if and when I need it. But the study guide is great. It has all of my contact information right there, our phone, our fax, our email, our Facebook, and it tells you about the course. It tells you about the materials that you're going to need. If you don't, or you don't want to, or you don't feel comfortable working on Google Classroom, there is a hard copy student workbook that pulls out all of the key questions that you're going to know or need and a writing utensil. If you prefer to type, then Google Classroom is the one-stop shop for you. We have the course expectations as given to us by the Ministry of Ontario. The part that I want to highlight right now is that each lesson introduces one or more expectations with examples. At the end of the lesson, there are key questions. The key questions cover the expectations and are assigned for grading. This is what you will need to submit for evaluation. Submit all of the key questions. The key questions will always be recognizable through this attention symbol, this red speech bubble with a white exclamation mark that's letting you know, stop, I've got some work that I have to do. When you see that symbol, stop and complete the questions that follow. This is what gets graded. This is what is for marks. This is how you will show that you understand the ideas, you've mastered the skills, that you can communicate your learning. When you are submitting work on Google Classroom, you can simply do this turn it in or submit button. If you are doing the hard copy and you've printed out or you've received the hard copy of the student workbook, we ask that when you're submitting that work, you scan it and email it to studentwork@nnec.on.ca. Again, if you have any questions about how to do any of this, always feel free to reach out to any one of us. Now, this course, although we have term 1B running until January 23rd, you can set your own pace. You can set your own deadlines. You can be working on the assignments as you have time. This table of contents is really an overview of what we'll be covering in the course. Unit 1 is the foundations of cooperative education. Unit 1 consists of 4 lessons. Lesson 1 is all about the ministry documents. Lesson 2 is about your student forms. Lesson 3 covers how co-op opens doors. And Lesson 4, you begin to explore your personal interests. Unit 2 is about building career readiness. So Lesson 5 looks at abilities that shape your future. Lesson 6 is what you bring to the workplace. Lesson 7 is navigating career options, and Lesson 8 is crafting your personal image. Then we get to Unit 3, which is workplace preparation and safety. Lesson 9 tackles mastering the conversation. Lesson 10 is staying safe at work. Lesson 11 is identifying and preventing hazards. And Lesson 12 is working safely. When we get to Unit 4, we're talking about professionalism in the workplace. Lesson 3 is all about acting with integrity. Lesson 14 is making responsible decisions. Lesson 15 is about respect and responsibility. And Lesson 16 dives into the Employment Standards Act. Then we go to Unit 5, our last unit, talking about understanding workplaces in the labor market, where Lesson 17 has us understanding worker representation. Lesson 18 is decoding the labor market. Lesson 19 is learning from the real world. And then Lesson 20 is that wrap up. We've got student timesheets in there with our final information to get you ready for your culminating. Again, if you need any help at all, you can contact me. My office hours are Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you have questions before or after that time frame, please leave me a message or send me an email, leave me a voicemail. And I'll get back to you as soon as I'm back in the office. If you're working on an assignment and you're not sure, shoot me off that email or Facebook Messenger message or send me a voicemail, and then see if you can skip it and go to the next question. Don't get hung up, don't get stopped on one piece and have it hinder your progress. Just write it out, let me know, move on, and then I can respond when I am back in the office. If you have any troubles accessing Google Classroom, there's the step-by-step how-to guide in your study guide, but you can always reach out to me with questions as well. The big part of this course is your coursework. The Unit 1 to 5 key questions make up 70% of your final grade. The culminating activity, which is broken into various pieces that we'll go through, make up your summative assessment, and that's 30%. Learning skills are just for you to work at so that you can be successful in the workplace, in post-secondary. They are work habits that you want to strive for. Now, I'm going to pause because it's 10:43 and I just want to show how we're going to progress from here. So looking at the components of, we have our student forms being the big one, your unit work, and then your portfolio, your final assessment. So what does that look like? The student forms, you have to complete the Worker Education Agreement, that WEA. It's a Ministry of Education requirement. Every co-op student must complete the form. The information contained in the agreement is used to maintain a record of students participating that gets sent back to the Ministry of Education. This is important. The next important document that's part of your Unit 1 requirements is the confidentiality agreement. Your workplace might ask you to sign a confidential agreement, but we also need one for our school records. So this confidentiality agreement is between you and I. Your supervisor doesn't need to sign this one. We do need their name on it, but this one is just your signature. The Work Education Agreement, the WEA, the WEA, all of us need to sign. You, myself, your supervisor. Now, the workplace report is a document that also goes into your student file, but it acts as an added bonus for getting to know your workplace. Information for the workplace report can be used for your student cooperative education learning plan. If you are unsure, if maybe it's a new job or you haven't been at it long or things have changed, you can use this as a wonderful segue for your supervisor saying, hey, I have to do this for my co-op assignment. Can we go through this together? And it might be good for them to know too. If you're confident, comfortable, you know where everything is, you can fill that one out by yourself and go through where certain things are. It's asking what are the policies and procedures, where do you find a first aid kit, where do you find a fire extinguisher, things like that. The last important one are your weekly logs. Maintaining weekly logs is mandatory for tracking work placement hours. You want to make completing these logs a daily habit, but I would recommend submitting them at the end of each week. At the end of each workday, go through, say what your hours were, your tasks that you did for the day, your goals, what you learned, but submit them to me at the end of the week. Part of this co-op requirement is that you do this in classroom learning, these 5 weeks, and the rest is that you do your placement practical hours, which have to be tracked. So that's what your weekly logs are for. They'll come up at the beginning, but they also come up again in lesson 20 at the end. It's ongoing. You want to be doing this every week from start to finish. Now, the Cooperative Education Learning Plan, also known as the Student Cooperative Education Learning Plan, so you might see SCELP or KELP. I've got them both here so that you are familiar with what they are. They're the same thing. This SCELP, the Student Cooperative Education Learning Plan, or the KELP, is a living document, meaning that you will be continuously referring to and updating it as needed. You'll notice that the KELP contains sections for reflection during your placement as well as after. You're doing it before, during, and after. This document is a ministry expectation and provides a framework for purposeful learning in the co-op course. You can go through this by yourself, with your employer, with myself if you need help tackling any of the questions. This is something that we're going to be coming back to. Similarly, there will be multiple student evaluations. Throughout your work placement, you're going to be required to complete student evaluations at different intervals. One at the beginning after 30 hours, depending on if you've got a 1-credit co-op or a 2-credit co-op. You might be doing one sort of at that midterm and one at the end. There is a section on Google Classroom for employers. This is just a way for us to acknowledge the role that they play in helping to make co-op successful. So there's an introduction letter that I give. If you want, you can give it to them as well. There's an information sheet, lets them know about our partnership, the role they play, the benefits to the student. They have to do an evaluation of you, and that counts towards your final grade. That's part of that summative assessment that makes up the 30% of your final grade. There's an employer checklist in there for them as well, much like the student one that you have. I've broken down the assignments and tasks per unit. I don't have time to get into all of it today, but we will revisit this on Wednesday when we come back. We're going to look at that Cooperative Education Learning Plan in more detail on Wednesday when we come back. I will break down further detail the final assessment, what your portfolio is made up of, what that portfolio looks like, how to do that portfolio, that final culminating project, as well as breaking down your overall grade. We're going to practice some of the tools that Google has to offer so that you can be confident in using them to help you be successful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Remember, tomorrow offices and classes are closed and canceled due to Remembrance Day, but we will be back on Wednesday, November 12th. Co-op will be from 10 to 11 a.m. Monday to Thursday. Please join us where we'll get into the meat and potatoes starting off in Unit 1. Have a great rest of your day.